Brain fog is one of those symptoms people love to blame on getting older or just being stressed. But that explanation can miss something much bigger hiding underneath the surface. A lot of people assume it's normal when they start forgetting simple words, losing focus halfway through conversations, rereading the same sentence 3 times, or feeling mentally exhausted by noon. But here's the problem. Your brain is not supposed to feel like it's running on dial-up internet every single day. And if your mental clarity has noticeably changed, your body may be trying to tell you something long before a serious health issue fully shows up. Hey everyone, I'm Marcus, a research scientist with over 25 years of experience. I'm also known as a wellness watchdog, and this is Health Sense or Nonsense, where I spend hours digging through studies, journals, and scientific data so you don't have to. Because the internet has turned brain fog into this weird catch-all diagnosis where apparently every influencer with a ring light thinks your mitochondria are sad because Mercury is retrograde. Meanwhile, some very real causes of cognitive decline are getting ignored completely. Today, we're breaking down what brain fog actually is, what the evidence says causes it, and the biggest mistakes people make before they immediately blame age, stress, or burnout. Quick note here before we go any further. This video is for general educational purposes only and is not personal medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always talk with your healthcare professional about symptoms or concerns specific to you. One of the most overlooked causes of worsening brain fog is poor sleep quality. And I don't just mean not enough sleep. You can technically sleep 8 hours and still wake up mentally wrecked if the quality is terrible. Sleep apnea is a perfect example. Millions of people have it and don't know it, especially people who snore, wake up tired, need caffeine to function, or feel sleepy during the day. During sleep apnea, oxygen levels repeatedly drop throughout the night, and your brain essentially gets interrupted over and over again while trying to recover and reset. That's not exactly a recipe for sharp thinking for the next morning. People often assume they're stressed or aging when in reality their brain has been fighting for oxygen all night, like a raccoon trapped in an air duct.
Quick pause here for a medical disclaimer. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a research scientist sharing information for educational purposes only. This content is not medical advice and should not replace guidance from your healthcare provider.
Anyway, blood sugar instability is another huge contributor that doesn't get talked about enough outside of diabetes discussions. Your brain is extremely energy demanding, and when blood sugar swings wildly all day, mental performance usually swings right along with it. One minute you feel okay, the next you can't remember why you walked into the room. Diets loaded with ultra-processed foods, sugary drinks, and constant snacking can create this roller coaster effect where attention, focus, and mood become completely unpredictable. And research suggests insulin resistance and metabolic dysfunction may affect cognitive performance years before someone is diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. That's one reason why persistent brain fog shouldn't just be brushed aside as normal stress. Another major factor is chronic inflammation. Now, social media has completely abused the word inflammation to the point where people think eating a blueberry cancels out sleeping 4 hours while inhaling drive-through cheeseburgers in a parking lot. But real systematic inflammation is associated with changes in cognition, fatigue, mood, and memory, obesity, sedentary lifestyle, smoking, heavy alcohol use, poor sleep, chronic illness, and some autoimmune conditions can all contribute. The tricky part is inflammation often builds slowly over time, so people adapt to feeling mentally mediocre without realizing how far they drifted from their baseline. It's a bit like gradually dimming the lights in a room. You don't notice it immediately until one day you realize you can barely see. Post-viral conditions, including long COVID, have also become increasingly recognized causes of persistent brain fog and cognitive dysfunction. Researchers are still working through the exact mechanisms, but inflammation, immune system activation, sleep disruption, and changes involving the brain's blood vessels all appear to play a role. We'll probably do an entire future episode on that subject alone, because the research in this area has exploded over the last few years. Nutrient deficiencies are another surprisingly common issue. Severe vitamin B12 deficiency is a well-documented cause of significant cognitive problems in some people. Iron deficiency can also contribute to fatigue and concentration problems, especially in women. Low vitamin D has been associated with mood and cognitive issues as well, although the evidence there is more mixed regarding direct causation. The important point is this: if someone's brain fog is persistent, worsening, or affecting daily life, basic lab work will reveal something fixable. Sometimes the body is less mysterious than the wellness industry wants it to sound. Not every problem requires a ceremonial mushroom powder harvested during a lunar eclipse. Hormonal changes can also play a massive role, especially during perimenopause and menopause. Many women describe it as suddenly feeling mentally slower, more forgetful, or emotionally foggy, despite functioning perfectly well before. Estrogen affects several brain-related symptoms, including neurotransmitters and sleep regulation. Thyroid dysfunction is another major culprit. Both hyperthyroidism and hyperthyroidism can affect concentration, memory, and energy levels. This is exactly why random supplements marketed as brain boosters can become a distraction from identifying the actual underlying issue. Fixing the root cause matters far more than throwing expensive capsules at symptoms. Now let's talk about stress, because yes, chronic stress absolutely can contribute to brain fog, but people often misunderstand how. Stress isn't just emotional. Your body interprets poor sleep, illness, overtraining, financial anxiety, non-stop notifications, and constant overstimulation as stress too. Modern brains are getting bombarded all day long, and many people haven't experienced true mental quiet in years. Your attention span gets fragmented when you constantly switch tasks, scrolling endlessly, and absorb information every waking second. Your brain was not designed to process emails, doom scrolling, breaking news, 5 group chats, and a productivity podcast simultaneously while eating lunch over the sink. There's also an important distinction between mental fatigue and actual cognitive decline, and a lot of people confuse the two. Mental fatigue usually improves when the underlying stressor improves. You sleep better for a few nights, take time off, exercise consistently, reduce overload, and your brain starts functioning more normally again. But when symptoms progressively worsen despite improving lifestyle habits, that's when it's smart to pay closer attention. Your brain has a remarkable ability to quietly compensate for problems before symptoms become obvious, which is why subtle changes sometimes matter more than dramatic ones. Physical inactivity also plays a larger role than most people realize. Exercise doesn't just help your muscles or cardiovascular health. Regular movement increases blood flow to the brain and supports the chemicals involved in learning, memory, and mood regulation. Some research even suggests exercise may be one of the most powerful non-pharmaceutical tools we have for supporting long-term brain health, which is frustrating news for anyone hoping the answer was hidden in a $12 Focus gummy shaped like a raspberry. The bigger point is that brain fog often develops from multiple small factors stacking together over time. Poor sleep, plus chronic sleep, plus inactivity, plus nutritional issues, plus nonstop stimulation can gradually chip away at mental clarity until feeling foggy starts feeling normal. And here's where things get important. Sometimes brain fog is not benign. Persistent or worsening cognitive symptoms can occasionally signal underlying medical conditions that deserve evaluation. Severe fatigue, memory changes, confusion, balance problems, personality changes, numbness, headaches, or sudden cognitive decline should not be ignored. Autoimmune disease, neurological disorders, infections, medication side effects, depression, anxiety, anemia, sleep disorders, cardiovascular disease, chronic fatigue syndrome, and post-viral illnesses can all contribute to cognitive symptoms. This is why self-diagnosing exclusively through social media can become generously dangerous. The algorithm is optimized for engagement, not accuracy. Some medications can also contribute more than people realize. Certain antihistamines, sleep aids, anti-anxiety medications, antidepressants, pain medications, and even some blood pressure drugs may affect alertness or cognition in susceptible individuals. That doesn't mean people should stop medications on their own. Absolutely not. But it does mean a medication review with your personal healthcare professional can sometimes uncover hidden contributors. The brain is incredibly sensitive to chemical changes, and even small shifts can affect mental clarity. Now, here's the encouraging part. In many cases, brain fog improves substantially when the underlying drivers are addressed consistently. Better sleep quality alone can dramatically improve focus, memory, mood, and energy. Regular physical activity improves blood flow to the brain and supports cognitive health long term. Diets emphasizing minimally processed foods, adequate protein, healthy fats, fiber, and stable blood sugar patterns tend to support better mental performance. Stress reduction techniques actually do matter, although preferably ones grounded in reality and not involving someone screaming affirmations at a salt lamp. Social connection also matters more than most people realize. Loneliness and isolation are associated with worse cognitive outcomes over time. Human brains are deeply social organs. Conversations, relationships, purpose, novelty, and engagement all help keep the brain active and resilient. Learning new skills, reading, exercising, sleeping properly, and staying socially connected consistently show up in research tied to healthier cognitive aging. Not because they're trendy wellness hacks, but because biology actually responds to them. And before someone says, well, Marcus, isn't some slowing down inevitable with age? Sure, some cognitive changes can occur gradually over time, but there's a massive difference between normal aging and feeling mentally impaired every single day. Forgetting where you put your keys occasionally is human. Walking into your kitchen wondering if you accidentally joined the witness protection program because you forgot your own train of thought every hour, that's different. Persistent brain fog deserves curiosity, not dismissal. The biggest takeaway here is this: don't normalize feeling mentally terrible all the time. Brain fog is a symptom, not a personality trait. Sometimes the fix is surprisingly straightforward. Sometimes it requires medical evaluation, but simply assuming it's just stress or just age can delay identifying something important. The good news is that many of the most evidence-based interventions are also the least glamorous. Better sleep, movement, nutrition, stress management, treating underlying conditions, and reducing cognitive overload. Not exactly sexy marketing for social media, but biology doesn't care about branding. One quick note before we wrap up. The journals and scientific studies used for this episode are cited in the description below, so you can review the evidence yourself, because that's how this channel works. No hype, no magic powder, no pretending every symptom has one simple cause. Just evidence, context, and practical information that actually helps you make smarter, healthier decisions. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe to Health Sense or Nonsense. I'm Marcus, the Wellness Watchdog, and I'll see you next time before the wellness industry convinces people that forgetting where they parked is caused by low-frequency avocado energy. You gotta love these jokes.